What's going on, guys? I'm out here with the Blue Line Outdoorsman today, and I want to give you a couple of tips and techniques that'll help you during the winter time, the summer, the spring, the fall. It's drop shotting, and a lot of people, they don't really know how to properly tie drop shot. They're not sure what lures to use on a drop shot, so I'm going to take you from my setup all the way to what we use on the water to catch these fish on drop shots. So the first thing that I choose is a 7-foot Impulse energy rod, and this rod right here was specifically designed for drop shot and any type of finesse baits really, but the tip on this thing, it has got a fast action tip, so you know it's real limber for them easy hook sets. And then the backbone, of course, it's stiff as a board, that way you can really bring that hook through when the fish starts fighting. Another thing, my reel, this is the most important thing. I want to be able to get extra long cast and be able to take up a lot of line when I want to. So I use the Lew's American Hero. This thing is a 6:2 to 1 gear ratio. It's not super fast, but it's fast enough for what I need it to do. Tremendous castability. As far as drag, the drag's wonderful on it. And then I always team it up with either 6 or 8 pound Flora Pro by Fishing Sir. It all depends on the clarity of the water. If I'm fishing a super clear lake and it's real finicky, the fish are real finicky, hard to catch, I'll swap to 6 pound test. But just river systems, anything like that, I always stick with 8 pound test. Sometimes I'll go up to 10. So what we're going to do, I'm going to show you the lures that I prefer to use, how I tie my drop shots, that way you can properly get your hook set on the water. So we're going to jump right into that. Alright guys, so now I'm going to go to my favorite lures to use on the drop shot, the hook size and the weight size. So this right here, this is called a Bama Magic. It's got some green pumpkin and blue in it. Kind of represents a bluegill, real natural. I take it a lot of times, this hook, I will actually nose hook it, which is one of the most common ways to use a drop shot. Also, sometimes I will hook it directly through the side about 1 inch from the top and let it, you know, just work it like that. Another way is the simple wacky rig technique. You hook it right through the middle. You can use it just like that on a drop shot. So this is not only one of my favorite colors, that's one of my favorite techniques to use on a drop shot. Also, I will use the Yum Ultimate Crawl. This thing, it's got great action. Not only that, the claws, if you can't tell on the video, I mean the claws are just super flimsy, so they have a lot of action in the water, especially during the summer times when stuff's moving real fast. And this is one of my #1 go-tos. I'll simply just hook it right through the end, bring that hook out the top, and you know, work it from there. Not only that, this crawl right here, this is the 3.75. It's got a lot more weight to it, so with the weight I get a lot more, or a lot further cast, basically. So, and during the summertime, you know, you don't want to be directly on top of the fish if you can't help it. You want to know where they're at and make that cast to them. What I use as far as a drop shot hook, this is a #2 Mustad KVD wide gap hook, and there's a lot of controversy over it, whether you should use an octopus or the wide gaps. I prefer the wide gaps. To me, I just do not lose as many fish. And another thing too, when you get bit with this hook, don't set the hook like you're trying to jerk that fish out of the water. Pull up and real fast. The fish will set the hook on itself. So that's a little tip for helping you catch more fish on the drop shot. Now the other thing, which is the most important thing to help get that lure down there, is the Woo Tungsten pencil weight. And this one right here is a 1/4 ounce, and when I'm fishing real deep water like Smith Lake or anywhere like that, where sometimes them fish are down 50-60 foot, that weight right there helps to get down real fast. And the reason I use a pencil weight is it doesn't get hung up in rocks as easy. So if you're fishing something like clay bottom, nothing chunky, just flat bottom, the teardrop weights are perfect. But me, 9 times out of 10, I'm using the pencil weight. So guys, I'm gonna show you exactly how to tie a drop shot, my version of the way I tie a drop shot. So alright guys, so now I'm gonna show you how to tie, and I'm using a little piece of braid about 2 foot long, and this way you can just see it a lot better, but I'm gonna move really slow and talk you through it, so don't be afraid to, you know, rewind that video and watch it over and over again. Make sure you get it right. The first thing that is very important is I take this hook and I turn it where the barb right here, the tip of the hook, is facing straight up. I take the end of my line, I run it through the hole just like that. I take the end of the line again, I run it straight back through the hole. Okay, now you've got that loop. Now what I do, take the extension right here, stick your finger in that hole, and then just pull you some extra line, just like that. See how I got this extra line and I got this loop? Now I'm gonna wrap my line around 2 or 3 times. Usually when I use 6-pound test, I only loop it around there about 3 or 4 times. So same applies with 8. So that's no big deal. Now I've wrapped my line around it 3 or 4 times. Now I take both of these loops that I've made, just like that, and I run the end of my line through both of the holes. Okay, now I just pull this. I know I'm kind of getting in the way, but I kind of got to hold it. So I just pull this just like that. Okay, now this is what it ought to look like right here with your line tight. This is what you do not want. So what I do, I take the end of my loop with your hook barb facing straight up towards you, and I run the tip back through the hole. It's kind of complicated with braid, but I run it back through the hole. Now I'm gonna stop about right here and show you why. See this knot? I pull it. Now that knot is on the inside of the eye. What this does, when you pull that on the inside, see how my hook is standing straight out? What that does, when it gets down there on the bottom and you have your weight down there at the bottom and your line's tied up here and you're working it just like that, that lure is going to be on the end moving all different ways, and that hook is going to be sticking straight out where you can get that really good hook set. But that is the key to throwing and fishing with a drop shot. Make sure you run that line back through that hole where it stands straight out. Your knot should go all the way through the eye down there on bottom. See where the knot is on bottom now that I've pulled it through? It will not break your line or anything like that unless your drag's not set properly. But guys, give that a shot on the water. And the last thing that I like to do is take my weight right here, tie any kind of knot you want, but I suggest leaving a little bit of a loose knot. What I'm saying is, don't over tie it like you do a hook. And the reason for that is, when it gets down there on bottom, if it does get hung up, I want to be able to lose my weight instead of losing my hook, my weight, my bait. At least if I break this weight off, I still have my hook and my bait to use. So that'll save you a little bit of money. But guys, that's how you properly tie a drop shot. That's my setup. Don't forget the impulse rod, the Lew's American Hero spinning reel, Yum Ultimate Crawl, Yum Bama Magic. That's my favorite color. Guys, get a hold of you some Yum products. You all know it works. I absolutely love Yum. Wouldn't use another bait company. So guys, there's your setup for a drop shot.